Welcome back to Level Up at 60. By now, you've likely spent some time reflecting on where you've been, what you've lived through, what you've accomplished, and maybe even what you've survived. And you may also be sensing something quieter but persistent calling you forward, a nudge, a curiosity, a quiet knowing that this next chapter deserves intention. Today, we move from inspiration into intention. Because dreaming is powerful. Dreaming opens the door. Dreaming reminds us of possibility. But planning is what turns possibility into reality. Planning is what allows a dream to live in your everyday life instead of staying safely tucked away in your imagination. This episode is about building your reinvention roadmap. Not a rigid plan, not a life overhaul, but a clear, flexible guide that supports where you're going without overwhelming where you are. At this stage of life, we're not trying to prove anything. We're trying to align. So let's begin. After 60, the idea of a traditional plan can feel heavy, even confining. Many of us spent decades living by schedules, deadlines, expectations, and responsibilities that didn't leave much room for ourselves. So when we hear the word plan, it's natural to resist it. But a roadmap is different. A roadmap doesn't tell you how fast to go. It doesn't demand constant forward motion. It simply shows you where you are and helps you see where you might like to head next. It offers direction while still allowing detours, pauses, and changes of mind. At this stage, we don't need rigid plans. We need direction with room to breathe. A roadmap helps focus your energy so you're not scattered across too many ideas at once. It helps reduce decision fatigue, that constant mental loop of, should I do this? Or what if I chose that instead? It helps quiet the endless what-if questions that can keep us stuck. And most importantly, it helps you move forward without pressure. This is not about filling your calendar or maximizing productivity. It's about creating a path that fits your life now, your body now, your priorities now, your values now. A roadmap is supportive. It steadies you while you explore. One reason so many people feel frustrated when trying to reinvent themselves is that they jump straight to goals. Goals can be useful, but without direction, goals often create stress instead of clarity. Direction asks deeper questions first. It asks, what kind of life do I want at this stage? How do I want my days to feel when I wake up in the morning? What pace supports my health, my joy, my energy, and my sense of peace? Direction is about orientation, not outcome. When you skip direction and move straight into goal setting, you may find yourself chasing things that no longer fit who you are. That's when goals feel heavy instead of motivating. That's when progress feels forced instead of natural. But when direction is clear, goals become supportive. They become tools, not pressure points. They work for you instead of against you. Think of direction as choosing the general landscape you want to live in. Goals are simply landmarks along the way. Now let's talk about the reinvention roadmap itself. This roadmap has 4 simple components. Simple does not mean shallow. Simple means sustainable. The first component is vision. Vision is not about fantasy or comparison. It's not about someone else's highlight reel. Vision is about answering one honest question. What does a good life look like for me now? Not 10 years ago, not what you were taught to want, but now. A good life might mean more rest. It might mean meaningful work. It might mean creative expression, financial steadiness, deeper relationships, or lifelong learning. Your vision can be practical, emotional, spiritual, or a blend of all 3. Vision gives your roadmap its North Star. The second component is focus areas. At this stage of life, focus is a form of self-respect. Trying to improve everything at once leads to burnout and disappointment. Instead, choose no more than 3 areas to focus on at any given time. These might include purpose or career, health and wellness, creativity, finances, relationships, or learning. The key is choosing what matters most right now, not what you think should matter. When you narrow your focus, you give yourself permission to move forward without guilt. The third component is experimentation. This is where many people get stuck because they believe reinvention requires a leap. It doesn't. Reinvention thrives on experiments. Experiments are small, low-risk actions. They allow you to test ideas without committing your entire identity to them. You're not deciding forever. You're simply gathering information. An experiment might look like taking a short course, volunteering, starting a creative habit, adjusting a routine, or having a conversation you've been putting off. Experiments keep curiosity alive and fear manageable. They allow movement without pressure. The fourth component is review points. A roadmap is not a contract, it's a living document. Regular check-ins allow you to pause and ask what's working, what's not, and what needs adjusting. Review points are about reflection, not judgment. You are not grading yourself, you are listening to yourself. That's how momentum is maintained without burnout. Now let's talk about why small steps matter more than ever. You do not need massive change overnight. In fact, massive change often backfires. At this stage of life, consistency beats intensity. Clarity beats urgency. Sustainability beats speed. Your nervous system matters, your energy matters, your health matters. A roadmap should feel supportive, not demanding, like a companion, not a taskmaster. If your plan feels heavy, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means the plan needs adjusting. Adjustment is wisdom, not weakness. Reinvention isn't about pushing harder, it's about aligning better. So let's pause for reflection. Ask yourself, what do I want more of in my life right now? More peace, more purpose, more connection, more learning, more creativity. Then ask, what do I want less of? Less stress, less obligation, less noise, less self-doubt. And finally, what is one area I'm ready to focus on? Just one? Write it down if you can. Saying it out loud also counts. Naming it is powerful. That's the beginning of your roadmap. As we close, remember this. Reinvention doesn't require perfection. It requires intention, patience, and self-trust. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to move slowly. You're allowed to redefine success. Your roadmap isn't a contract, it's a compass, and you can revise it anytime. Next week, we'll talk about a potential challenge that often shows up quietly but significantly at this stage of life. We'll explore structured literacy for adults and how to strengthen skills that may feel uncomfortable to revisit in a way that's respectful, empowering, and deeply affirming. As you reflect on today's conversation, take note of what stayed with you. And remember, you don't need to have everything figured out right now. If you'd like to explore this topic more deeply, the guided reflections and worksheets for this episode are available inside the Level Up at 60 Season 1 workbook. These resources are designed to support clarity, reflection, and intentional planning as you move forward at your own pace. And if community feels like the next step, the Level Up Circle offers a welcoming monthly space for women approaching 60 or who have already reached that milestone and beyond, who are ready to grow, connect, and rise together. Until then, keep leveling up. Your legacy is just beginning.